J-Lo like was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Kim Porter was working on a book before she died.
Did you see the Babylon Bees take on it? Did you see the Babylon Bees?
Babylon Bees awesome, but
oh my God, they're so on fire because the left can't say anything. Well, the Onion has been crippled.
Elon Musk and Joe Rogan are known for speaking their minds, but recently, they've been turning up the heat on some of Hollywood's biggest names. In a shocking turn of events, the two have teamed up to expose what they claim is a dark web of secrecy surrounding Sean Diddy Combs and his ties to mysterious deaths. But it doesn't stop there. They've been blasting celebrities left and right, calling them out for their role in covering up Diddy's freak-off parties and the fallout that followed. Joe Rogan and Elon Musk have been relentless in their attempts to shed light on the truth ever since Diddy's arrest. They've been openly accusing other high-profile stars of being complicit, spreading the word that these so-called elite parties weren't just about power moves, but about dark, hidden crimes that no one wanted to talk about. Rogan, especially, hasn't held back, calling out celebrities for turning a blind eye while Diddy's empire was built on manipulation, deceit, and worse. Now, here's where things get worse. It's not just about the parties anymore. According to both Rogan and Musk, Diddy has allegedly been involved in the passing of some of the biggest names in Hollywood. These deaths are no accident. Some of them, according to reports, have been mysterious in nature, and in some cases, downright suspicious. We're talking about major figures in the industry, all with ties to Diddy's world, all gone under strange circumstances. But that's not the most shocking part. Even more chilling is the fact that some of these celebrities knew exactly what was going on. They knew about the shady dealings, the bodies stacking up, and yet they kept their mouths shut. Why? Was it out of fear, loyalty to the industry, or were they simply too deep in Diddy's world to escape? Andre Harrell, the man who gave Diddy his start. Now, Andre Harrell was one of the biggest names in the music industry back in the day. He was the CEO of Uptown Records and pretty much gave Diddy his big break. If you don't know who he is, well, Harrell was the one who took Diddy under his wing and introduced him to the music business. He made Diddy a star and gave him the opportunity to build what would become Bad Boy Records, the label that brought us Biggie and a whole new era of hip-hop.
Now you got Andre Harrell trying to step up and say why he fired Diddy. But guys, we know Andre Harrell was the one who put Diddy into this lifestyle. You know, that was his boss. That was the one who showed him this type of game.
But here's the kicker. After all that success, Diddy and Harrell had a falling out, and Diddy left Uptown to start his own label. You'd think after all the success they'd had together, they'd stay on good terms, right? Well, not exactly. Fast forward to 2020. Diddy is on top, but tragedy strikes. Andre Harrell, who was just 59 years old, passed away from heart failure. It was officially ruled as natural causes. But hold on a second. This was a man who helped build Diddy's empire, and his sudden passing at such a young age, just like so many others, raises serious questions. Natural causes? Or was there more to it than meets the eye? I mean, come on. When you start looking at how many people connected to Diddy have died mysteriously, you can't help but wonder.
And we learned of another death in the world of music today. The founder of Uptown Records passed. Andre Harrell died late Thursday at his home in California. Harrell gave rapper Sean Puff Daddy Combs his first big break. Harrell reportedly died from heart failure. He was only 59 years old.
News of Harrell's passing didn't even come through a press release or a statement from Diddy himself. Nope, it was actually DJ D-Nice who revealed the news during an Instagram live session. And you know what's crazy? It was just a few years later that rumors started flying about the real reason Harrell died. But let's take a deeper dive into what's been said about Harrell's sudden passing. The unanswered questions around Andre Harrell's death. Here's where things start to look a little fishy. People close to Harrell have hinted that there was more going on than we were being told. There's been talk of a possible heart attack, which people say can be triggered by stress. But stress from what? Was it the fallout with Diddy, the business disagreements that led to their split, or was it something darker at play? When you take a step back and look at how many people connected to Diddy have passed away under strange circumstances, the dots begin to connect in ways that are too much of a coincidence. Kim Porter, a tragic death that left more questions than answers. Next up, we have Kim Porter. Kim wasn't just any woman in Diddy's life. She was the mother of 3 of his children, and let's be real, she knew all the dirt. She wasn't some random ex. She was deeply connected to him, and their history together was anything but ordinary.
I just can't believe that somebody that had the normal flu, that had doctors on speed dial, that they had enough money that they could get the half of the hospital to come to the house.
Her death in 2018 shocked the world. At just 47 years old, she passed away suddenly after experiencing flu-like symptoms. The official cause of death was pneumonia, but right from the start, people were side-eyeing that explanation. Why? Because Kim wasn't just a regular mom or partner. She was allegedly working on a tell-all book before her passing. And that book, people believe it would have spilled the tea on everything. Diddy's dark secrets, his affairs, his life behind closed doors. Could she have known too much?
Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms.
But that's not all. To make things worse, Kim wasn't just caught in some love triangle. There were darker things going on behind the scenes. One of Diddy's former bodyguards, Gene Deal, dropped a huge bombshell. He claimed that Diddy actually broke Kim's nose during a trip on his yacht. Now, imagine this. A secret surgeon was allegedly flown in to fix her face. That is some chilling stuff right there.
Then you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
The Al B. Sure revelation. But it gets even messier. A week after Diddy's arrest, Al B. Sure, Kim's ex and the father of her first child, took to Instagram to publicly mourn her death. However, his grief came with a lot of questionable comments. He didn't just talk about how he missed her, he dropped hints that suggested something deeper was at play. In fact, Al B. Sure straight up called Kim's death a red rum on social media. He posted, "Kimberly didn't die of pneumonia," and "That's some bullish." This wasn't just a grieving ex-husband speaking out of anger. He was implying that Kim's death was no accident and that something sinister was involved. If that wasn't enough to raise eyebrows, the fact that Al B. Sure had been in the know about Kim's personal life only adds to the mystery. It's almost like he knew too much, or maybe had reason to suspect foul play.
And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was gonna meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know, you wanna know what they all had in common though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books.
And then there's the bizarre twist. Al B. Sure ended up in a coma in 2022, with nearly every organ in his body failing out of nowhere. Doctors were clueless, unable to figure out what caused his sudden health crisis. But let's keep it real. People are reading between the lines. Could his near-death experience be connected to him speaking out about Kim's death?
And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma?
People are now revisiting Kim's history with Diddy, asking questions like, what really went on in their relationship? Did she know too much? Was she silenced before she could expose everything? Kim Porter's untimely death, just like Andre Harrell's, has many people believing there's more to the story than meets the eye. Heavy D, another tragic loss, tied to Diddy. Next up, we have Heavy D. For those who don't know, Heavy D was one of the first major stars on Uptown Records, and he played a pivotal role in Diddy's rise to power. Heavy D wasn't just an artist, he was a mentor to Diddy, and the two had a strong connection, both personally and professionally. In fact, you could say Heavy D was one of the people who helped shape the early years of Bad Boy Records.
And the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died.
Now, here's where things get unsettling. In 2011, Heavy D tragically passed away at the age of 44. He collapsed outside his Beverly Hills home and was later diagnosed with a pulmonary embolism, which, for those who don't know, is caused when a blood clot travels to the lungs. It was ruled as a natural death by the medical examiner. But here's the thing, as tragic as that is, we can't ignore the pattern of people in Diddy's orbit dying in mysterious or unexplained ways. Is it a coincidence that so many people connected to Diddy are meeting untimely ends?
And hip-hop pioneer Heavy D died last night. His group Heavy D and the Boys released their first album, Livin' Large, in 1987. The rapper collapsed outside his Beverly Hills home. Heavy D was only 44.
But that's not all. The timing of Heavy D's death raises even more red flags. Why now, after years of success and wealth, Heavy D, a man with no known history of serious health problems, suddenly passes away out of nowhere? It starts to feel like more than just a tragic accident. To make things worse, Heavy D wasn't just any random person in Diddy's life. He was a mentor, a friend, and one of the early trailblazers who helped establish Bad Boy Records as a household name. Biggie Smalls, hip-hop's greatest loss with Diddy in the shadows. When it comes to Biggie Smalls, his death remains one of hip-hop's most infamous unsolved mysteries. But here's the thing, no matter how much time passes, Diddy's name always seems to pop up. Back in the late 90s, Biggie and Sean P. Diddy Combs attended an after-party together, where tragedy struck. Biggie was down in a drive-by sitting in his SUV, cutting short the life of one of rap's greatest talents. A senseless act? Maybe. But when you dig deeper, the story takes a darker turn.
To hold Ms. Wallen's hand and explain to what happened to her son that night, it was one of the, I guess, most emotional times I've ever had in my life.
Years later, Uncle Ron, one of Diddy's former bodyguards, dropped a bombshell about what might have really happened. Uncle Ron, whose real name is Ron Smith, claimed in a tell-all video that Jay-Z and Diddy were co-conspirators in Biggie's demise. According to him, the motive for Biggie's passing wasn't just about the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. It was something deeper, something more calculated.
Finding out that he wanted all the rights to all his catalog.
But here's where it gets downright eerie. Less than 24 hours after Uncle Ron released his explosive video, he mysteriously passed away. The official cause? Pneumonia at the age of 59. But let's be real, fans aren't buying it. Many believe his sudden death was no coincidence, especially given the timing.
Uncle Ron, Beyonce's ex-bodyguard who threatened to expose them. Yeah, threatened to expose them, I believe in 2023, is deceased. He's passed away.
Craig Mack, a rising star. Silenced. Another name on the list of untimely losses tied to Diddy's orbit is Craig Mack. Known for his massive hit Flava in Ya Ear, Craig Mack helped put Bad Boy Records on the map. But after his initial success, his career took a nosedive. By 2018, Craig Mack had embraced Christianity and was living a quiet life in South Carolina. Tragically, he passed away at just 47 years old from heart failure.
Man, Craig Mack went to his grave mad at Bad Boy. Craig Mack told his people, told the religious people, that don't let them pay for of mine.
Now, here's where things get suspicious. According to sources close to Craig, he was frustrated with the deal he had signed with Diddy and couldn't handle the micromanagement he experienced while at Bad Boy. Let's not forget, this is the same Diddy who was fired from Uptown Records for his allegedly bullish management style. Craig reportedly openly resisted Diddy's control, and we all know how Diddy handles resistance. It doesn't end well. His pushback led to Diddy sidelining him, both personally and professionally, essentially burying his career.
Craig Mack manager, right? Puff told Craig Mack if he didn't change management, he wasn't with him no more.
But that's not all. Craig Mack's death isn't just another tragic loss. It's another example of how those who fall out with Diddy seem to meet mysterious ends. From heart failure to unexplained health issues, the pattern is undeniable. Fans can't help but ask, was this truly natural, or is there more to the story? Anthony Wolf Jones, a protector, betrayed. Anthony Wolf Jones wasn't just Diddy's bodyguard. He was a ride-or-die friend, and one of the key figures who helped build Bad Boy Records into a powerhouse. Wolf even invested $300,000 of his own money to help get the label off the ground. But as Diddy's star rose, their bond started to crumble.
Wolf's mother let me hear something that the what they call it, the drug enforcement, the prosecutor from Atlanta, that Puff told Meech, go ahead and do what you got to do. When him and Wolf was beefing outside, I heard Wolf say out of his mouth, "I'ma show you them niggas ain't that."
When Bad Boy Records blew up with hits from Craig Mack, Biggie, and others, Diddy's profile skyrocketed. But while Puff was enjoying the limelight, Wolf started feeling left behind. He wasn't getting the respect or the money he felt he deserved. When Wolf asked for his $300,000 back to move on, Diddy stalled, refusing to pay him out. That delay not only kept Wolf financially tethered to Diddy, but also created a rift that would only grow wider.
Puff was putting a battery in Wolf back, talking about, I don't need you no more. When I get this, do this Universal deal, I'm gonna give you $300,000 and leave you the fuck alone. Wolf said, you could never leave me alone. You understand?
But that's not all. Wolf began noticing how Diddy treated others in his circle, cutting them off the moment they were no longer useful. Seeing this pattern, Wolf decided he wanted out, but it seems Diddy had other plans. According to Big Meech, the leader of the Black Mafia family, BMF, Diddy allegedly stirred the pot by encouraging Meech to cut ties with Wolf, even suggesting that he didn't need him anymore. This betrayal fueled tensions that had already been simmering between Wolf and BMF.
Wolf get by some kids from BMF. Actually, the dude that he put down with BMF. This nigga brags about cussing Wolf mother out.
The tragic night, outside Club Chaos. Fast forward to November 11th, 2003, when those tensions reached a breaking point outside Club Chaos in Atlanta. Wolf and his right-hand man, Lamont Rez Gertie, crossed paths with Big Meech and other BMF members. The confrontation reportedly started over a woman, but it quickly escalated into something far more deadly. What began as a heated argument spiraled into a full-blown shootout in the parking lot. At first, Wolf and Rez held their own, but then the unthinkable happened. One of Wolf's former friends, who had recently joined BMF, turned on him mid-fight to prove his loyalty to Meech. Shots were fired, and both Wolf and Rez were gunned down on the spot.
The standoff happened. Big Meech and those guys, in self-defense, ended up killing Wolf. And then once Big Meech gets off house arrest, Puffy throws him a big party.
But here's where it gets messier. Was this truly a personal beef? Or was it part of a larger orchestrated plan? Rumors have swirled for years that Diddy might have played a role in setting Wolf up, using his influence to pit Wolf against BMF and ensure he was taken out of the picture. To make things even more complicated, some fans believe there's a deeper layer of betrayal. After Wolf's death, whispers began circulating that he might have been the real father of Justin Combs, Diddy's firstborn. Fans couldn't help but notice the resemblance between Justin and Wolf, and recent comments from Big Meech have reignited those suspicions. If true, it paints an even darker picture of Diddy's actions.
Life really got real serious when we get married.
I put up a picture of Wolf and one of Puffy's sons, Justin Combs. Look at him. You tell me.
Aaron Carter, a cry for help. Last but not least, we have Aaron Carter, whose tragic passing in 2022 has left fans with more questions than answers. Once a teenage heartthrob, Aaron was found dead under circumstances that were initially ruled accidental. But when you piece together the events leading up to his death, the story takes a darker turn.
Following developing news tonight in Lancaster, where pop star Aaron Carter has died at the age of 34.
Yeah, the troubled performer grew up in the limelight, but he was in and out of rehab several times in his short life.
In the months before his death, Aaron was vocal about feeling unsafe and trapped in his own home. He claimed his realtor refused to sell the house, leaving him in a situation he described as dangerous. Aaron even begged for help, saying he felt like he was being silenced. Now, with his connections to Hollywood's elite, including Diddy, fans are revisiting his cries for help and wondering if there's more to the story.
I go on my Twitter and I see people saying, "You look like you have AIDS, you should go." I don't understand how I dedicated 22 years of my life to my fans, and now they turn on me.
Do you regret ever getting involved in...
I didn't have a choice. It got bad.
Photos from Aaron's younger years show him hanging out with Diddy. At first glance, it seemed innocent, a young star rubbing elbows with one of music's biggest names. But now, with everything we know about Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, those photos feel far more sinister. The timing of Aaron's death raises even more eyebrows. Just as he began hinting that he had dirt on certain powerful figures in Hollywood, he was gone. Aaron's passing, like so many others connected to Diddy, feels shrouded in mystery. Fans can't help but ask, was this really an accident? Or was Aaron silenced before he could spill the tea?
And you said you take opiates for surgeries that you've had in the past. Do you ever worry that you could ever overdose?
I mean, there's always that worrying, but there's also the fact that I had to kiss my sister goodbye in the coffin. I had to kiss her body. I had to kiss her right on her cheek, and I kept kissing her. And that was a scary thing. My family knows, before I did the show, the doctors, they knew that I was taking Xanax and stuff like that, and that I was going to actually psychiatrists.
The growing web of suspicion. From Anthony Wolf Jones to Aaron Carter, the pattern of untimely deaths and mysterious circumstances surrounding Diddy is impossible to ignore. Whether it's betrayal, manipulation, or something even darker, the list of lives affected by their proximity to Diddy keeps growing. The deeper you dig, the more questions arise, and the truth seems harder to uncover. As Joe Rogan and Elon Musk continue to peel back the layers of Diddy's alleged misdeeds, it's clear we're only scratching the surface. Who else might be tied to these tragedies? And what other secrets are still waiting to be revealed? And most importantly, which celebs were complicit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while at it, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon. Also, check out our next video giving you a deeper dive into Drake's lawsuit against Universal Media Group and how it all ties back to the untimely passing of Michael Jackson. You don't want to miss it.